everyone, this is Andrew from Vantage Auto. I want to welcome you to the newest brand that we're launching called the Reserve. The Reserve is a line of cars we're building ourselves, which are really focused on customized G-Wagons and Defenders, which we're going to be bringing over to the United States that are of the best quality that you've seen. G-Wagons have always been a passion of mine, and this has been a process we've been working on for the past 2 years. I'm really excited to share with you some of the first G-Wagons that we've restored and gotten over here to the US. Behind me is a car that was built originally for the sands of Afghanistan, used in the military. This truck lived its life in Afghanistan, later on in Europe, sat for a while. We picked it up, performed a complete body off frame restoration, and made this truck exactly like new. This truck here is a 91 Mercedes 250 GD, which is a G-Wagon cabriolet, again, built for the military. This color is how it came from the factory. It's an extremely rare truck, being that it was not finished in camo. We removed this body from the frame, redid the frame completely, all suspension components, the wheels, the tires, the interior, really is, I would say, better than new. It's a 5-cylinder diesel motor, non-turbo. Horsepower is not any impressive number, but in terms of capability, it's really amazing what these are capable of. Now I just want to walk you around quickly, show you a few different parts of this G-Wagon, what we did that makes it so special and unlike anything anybody's ever done before. So we start with the body. After it's removed from the frame, we completely sandblast everything off of the body. We perform any repairs necessary to the body, which is done by our master welders at our shop in Warsaw, right outside of Warsaw, Poland. These are guys that have been working on G-Wagons for over 15 years with a combined 200 years of experience just on these G-Wagons. After the body is sandblasted, we perform a complete prime of the body, and our bodies are primed and cured for over a week, which ensures that the paint which goes on top of that primer is going to last and not crack like you see in many restored vehicles. All of our lights, seals, gaskets, everything on this car is replaced and new from Mercedes. That's beginning with our reflectors, our wings over here, body mounts, bushings, all these pieces of the bumper are either restored or are new. When we restore our parts, we sandblast everything. Then we galvanize or powder coat, which again will ensure that longevity that we're looking for. If I walk you around over here, you'll notice that we have these fasteners. Incredibly hard to get. A lot of guys use these knockoff fasteners. These are from Mercedes. We've been able to luckily source them. All of them are new. So every piece of rubber on this car you're going to find is new. Our top is also brand new to exact OEM specifications done by our in-house upholsterers. All the stitching is exactly what was from the factory. We use a material very similar to what these came with new. However, since '91, the materials have gotten much better. So this is a top that's definitely going to last. Our isinglass is very similar to how you would have seen on a new one. It's not perfectly clear, and that's done intentionally because back then they were not perfectly clear either. This also contributes to the durability of it. Our windows are all OEM glass replaced from the factory. Our door handles, I mentioned before, all components are redone. Come around to the back of the vehicle, you'll see that we've again kept everything completely as it was new. We've replaced it with new OEM taillights. Our wheel mount is the same. Even our mount here is the same. This was used to carry tools by the Army, usually an extra fuel tank. But again, everything, all the metal work you can see, this has all been sandblasted, powder coated. Really looks awesome. Bring it on to this side just so you can see again how straight the body is. There's no dents, dings, there's no filler in this either. When we repair our bodies, we do all metal work. So we're welding in new metal onto the body to ensure that it's flat. So you'll never have any sort of bondo or anything of that sort of cracking. Quickly, I want to show you the interior, which I think is one of the coolest parts of this G-Wagon. So, military wolves, and this is called a wolf, came from the factory with a green vinyl interior. The green would have contrasted too much with the exterior they found for camouflage purposes. So this is the only G-Wagon that came from the factory with these seat covers. We've replicated the exact seat cover, which you can see installed here. During the restoration process, we also redo the entire interior, so the floors match the exterior. We redo all of the body welds and things of that nature. In the back, what's really cool is you have two forward-facing seats that are actually elevated, which will ensure that the rear passengers can see out the front, which is unlike other vehicles where that person in the back is just staring at the seat in front of them. This truck is actually running on a 24-volt electrical system, which was how these came new. We install a 12-volt converter, that way our clients can have the ability to plug in USB charger, install a radio, or things of that nature. This one has the original heating system, which has been completely gone through and restored, so the heat works awesome. These did not come from the factory with air conditioning, however, that's something that we do offer to install for our clients, should they so wish. So a few interesting facts about the 250 GD Wolf that we're looking at here. This car was most likely used by actually American forces in Afghanistan that were using equipment that came from certain European allies. So that's like what this car's history is. Being that this is a Wolf cabriolet, it has some very specific things that were done to it specifically for its use. The first thing that's important to note is that this has 3 differentials. The long wheelbase versions for military did not. So the Swiss versions and the Austrian versions for those militaries and the Danish did not have front locking differentials, which this one does have. Secondly, what's important to note is the transmission in this car is super unique. These trucks were built to tow really heavy loads, not at high speed, but the ability to actually move heavy artillery and things of that nature. So this is a 5-speed or 5-forward gear transmission, the first being a low forward gear to generate a lot of torque to get that load moving, and then 4 additional gears. If you were to look at military versions from other nations, you would see a simple 4-speed transmission. Another thing to note right over here, which I think is pretty cool. The Wolves all had flat roofs and had windshields which fold down. The Puchs, the long wheelbase versions of these, which were used by the other militaries, had the roofs which slanted upwards and in my opinion looked pretty ugly, and were unique for the military. So the civilian versions of the G-WAGON cabriolet had this type of setup, which is why modifying one, a 250 GD Wolf, looks the most similar to a civilian version, which is why most of our clients prefer the Wolf over the Puch. Some quick info about the motor. We're talking about a 5-cylinder naturally aspirated diesel, about 100 horsepower, which sounds like nothing. This motor generates tons of torque. It can withstand heat, withstand cold weather, operating temperatures. Incredibly reliable motor that generates a lot of low-end torque. You can still cruise 60, 70 miles an hour in this truck. So can win any races? No, it's not what it's built for. So the reliability here is second to none. We rebuild these motors soup to nuts. All new seals, all new components, everything about these motors is new. So when you buy from us, you are getting a like-new G-WAGON. I'd argue better than new, as some parts have been retrofitted to fix any issues that they have from the factory. But you're getting a motor that's truly like new in every which way. A few quick things about the interiors of these Wolves I want to point out. These are awesome if you're going off-road or going to the beach, have kids. They've got built-in drains in the floors, so they'll never hold water. And they're really, really reliable. Everything in this truck is pretty much waterproof. Again, we spoke about that shifter, which is going to have a first forward gear, which is going to be over and down, which is not normal for most of us. You go from that low gear up to first, second, third, and fourth. There's an area for a radio here, which can be added if anybody would like. Our HVAC controls are below, light switches to the left of that. These do have power steering. They're really comfortable to drive. I think people assume, Defender's the way to go, but when you drive a G-WAGON, these are really overly engineered, overbuilt, super reliable, solid. You don't hear the rattle you hear in many Defenders. I'm personally a huge G-WAGON fan. We'll build you a Defender, but I think America's going to start experiencing this G-WAGON revolution. Thanks for joining us.